Let me ask you something. When you imagine your future, how big are your dreams? And I do not mean the safe, watered-down dreams you tell your relatives just so they stop asking you about your life plans at family gatherings. I mean the wildly embarrassing, top-secret, massive dreams you keep quietly tucked inside your heart. The ones you almost feel foolish to say out loud because they sound too ambitious, too heavy, and too distant for the person you currently are. The house you secretly imagine yourself living in, the specific car you picture yourself driving, the places across the world you want to travel, the kind of absolute financial security you want to provide for your family, the massive business you want to build, and the influential, deeply fulfilled person you want to become. How big are those dreams? Because sometimes, before life even gets a chance to tell us that something is impossible, we beat it to the punch and tell ourselves first. We learn to dream within strict, self-imposed limits. We look at our current bank statement, our current job title, and our current environment, and we decide that our future is only allowed to look like a slightly upgraded, slightly polished version of our present. If we can currently afford a small, cramped apartment, we courageously dream about a slightly larger apartment with one extra closet. If we can currently afford an ordinary, noisy car, we dream about a slightly better car that doesn't make a strange clucking sound when we start it. If we have never traveled outside our own city, we think about visiting somewhere nearby. And somehow, without even realizing it, we start treating our temporary, current circumstances like they are a permanent, unchangeable prediction of our entire future existence. But they're not. Where you are right now is just a starting line. It is a measurement of your past choices and current reality, but it is absolutely not a measurement of where you can eventually go if you refuse to stop expanding your mind. And here is something beautiful that we often forget. Dreaming big does not cost you a single penny. We live in a world where inflation has hit absolutely everything, but your imagination remains completely free. You do not need a platinum credit card to imagine your dream house down to the exact tile and the way the morning light hits the kitchen. You do not need a passport to visualize yourself walking through the streets of Tokyo, Rome, or Cairo. You do not need $1 million sitting in a vault to think about what you would do, who you would help, and how you would change the world with $1 million. You do not need a multi-million-dollar business empire to picture yourself sitting at the head of a table, making decisions, and becoming wildly successful. And you certainly do not need permission from your bank account to dream. Your bank account can be staring back at you, flashing a low balance and screaming, "Absolutely not, sit down." But your imagination can calmly look right back at it and say, "Just wait." And honestly, sometimes your imagination has far more long-term vision than your current bank balance will ever have, so why on earth are you not using it? Now, let us be completely honest and transparent here, because we need to clear up a major misconception. Dreaming big is not a guarantee that everything will magically appear overnight. If it worked that way, we would all be sitting in our custom-built mansions right now, sipping expensive coffee, wearing designer clothes, and wondering where our private jets are parked. Unfortunately, imagination does not come with free Prime delivery, and the universe has a terrible customer service record when it comes to delivering unearned miracles. A beautiful house is never going to knock on your front door, introduce itself, and say, "Congratulations, I heard you were visualizing me on your vision board for the last year, so I decided to manifest right here on your lawn." You still have to work, you still have to learn, you still have to fail repeatedly, you still have to exercise brutal patience, and you still have to make heavy sacrifices. But before you can ever work toward building something extraordinary, you need to be capable of seeing it as possible in your mind. The sad reality is that most people do not dream according to what they actually want, they dream according to what they think they are allowed to have. And there is a massive, life-altering difference between those two mindsets. You might look at your life and say, "Well, I just want a simple house." But why stop there? Why immediately shrink the picture before you even give yourself a chance? If your heart genuinely wants a beautiful, spacious home with a blooming garden, a quiet library, large windows where sunlight floods the rooms, and a peaceful, secure space where your family can gather and feel safe, why not imagine exactly that? Why do you immediately attack your own desires and tell yourself, no, that is way too much for someone like me, I should be happy with less? Who told you that? Who decided that your dreams have to match your current, temporary circumstances? If someone else, who started with nothing, can dream about building something extraordinary and actually pull it off, why can't you? If someone else can become a self-made millionaire through discipline and smart choices, why can't you? If someone else can build a global company from a laptop in their bedroom, why can't you? If someone else can buy the exact car you admire on the street, why can't you work toward owning one yourself? If someone else can travel the world and experience different cultures, why can't you? Today's reality is almost always yesterday's impossible dream. Think about it. Almost everything surrounding you right now started as a fragile, invisible idea inside a single human mind. The chair you are sitting on, the phone you are holding in your hand, the building you are currently inside, the clothes on your back, the car parked outside, the massive airplane flying thousands of feet in the sky, at some point in human history. None of these things existed in the physical world. They existed only inside someone's mind. Someone looked at an empty space or a problem and imagined something that was not there yet. Then they had the courage to ask, can this actually exist? Then they experimented. They failed 1,000 times. They were laughed at. They tried again. They refined the idea. They worked for years when nobody believed in them, and eventually, the thing that once existed only in the realm of imagination became a completely normal part of our daily reality. That is why dreaming is not childish, it is not a waste of time, and it is not a luxury for the naive. Dreaming is the literal beginning of creation. If you went back 300 years ago and told someone that you could sit in your living room and instantly talk to someone thousands of miles away while seeing their face in real time on a little glowing glass brick that you carry in your pocket, they would have locked you up or treated you like you had completely lost your mind. They would have laughed and said it was impossible magic. And yet, here we are, doing it every single day without a second thought. We do not call it magic anymore. We call it a smartphone. Something that once sounded utterly impossible became completely ordinary because someone refused to stop imagining what could exist. So never, ever be afraid of the size, the scale, or the wildness of your own imagination. However, let us make one thing crystal clear because this is where the amateur dreamers get left behind. Dreaming alone is never going to be enough to save you. You can sit on your bed, close your eyes, and visualize your dream business for the next 10 years. But if you do not wake up, open your laptop, and start working, that business will remain a fantasy forever. You have to build the dream. Once you dream big, you have to match that vision with a work ethic that is big enough, heavy enough, and consistent enough to actually give that dream a fighting chance to survive in the real world. If you dream about becoming completely financially independent, do not just wish for money. Start reading books about finance, study how wealth is generated, and learn the rules of the game. If you dream about owning a thriving business, start learning marketing, sales, leadership, and operations. If you want a specific, high-paying career, dedicate your evenings to developing the exact technical skills required for it. If you want to travel the globe, learn how to earn high-value income, how to budget strictly, how to save aggressively, and how to organize your life. Do not just admire someone's final destination while ignoring the muddy, rocky road they had to walk to get there. We live in a society that loves to look at highly successful people and lazily dismiss their achievements by saying, oh, they just got lucky, or they had connections, or they probably cheated. And sure, maybe some people had advantages you did not have, and maybe some people were handed opportunities on a silver platter. But you have absolutely no idea how many years of silent, agonizing work they put in when nobody was watching, when nobody was clapping, and when they were failing in total darkness. You do not know how many personal sacrifices they had to make behind closed doors, and you do not know what kind of heavy emotional toll they paid to get where they are. So instead of looking at someone else's incredible success and bitterly thinking, why do they get to have that and I don't? Try shifting your perspective and asking a much more powerful question. What can I learn from their journey? Jealousy always asks, why them? Because it wants an excuse to stay lazy and comfortable. Growth always asks, "What can I learn?" because it understands that success leaves clues. That is a completely different level of mindset, and it is the exact boundary line between people who make things happen and people who just watch things happen. You need to anchor this truth deep into your mind. Someone else's success does not take a single thing away from your own possibilities. The universe is not a limited pie where if your neighbor takes a big slice, there is less left for you. Your neighbor buying a beautiful, brand new car does not mean your chance to own one has suddenly vanished from the earth. Someone else getting their keys to a gorgeous dream house does not mean the world has run out of bricks, land, or architecture. Someone traveling to 20 different countries does not mean your passport has been permanently blacklisted from adventure. Someone becoming extraordinarily wealthy does not mean the global economy has run out of money to distribute. There is an abundance of opportunity, and there is more than enough room for you to win too. Please do not fall into the toxic, self-sabotaging mindset of assuming that all rich people are inherently evil, or that every successful person must have cheated their way to the top. While it is true that some people do terrible things to acquire wealth, assuming that every single prosperous person is dishonest is just a convenient psychological shield you are using to protect yourself from the discomfort of having to imagine yourself becoming successful. It gives you an excuse to stay small because you tell yourself, well, I am poor, but I am good, so being rich must mean you are bad. Break free from that mental trap right now. Develop a higher, cleaner, and more honorable mindset. Start saying to yourself, I want to become incredibly successful through honest, dedicated work. I want my wealth to come through completely legal, clean, and ethical means. I want to earn so much abundance that I can easily take care of my parents, lift up my family, and support my community. I want to build a legacy that I can be deeply proud of, and I want to prove that you can achieve massive success without becoming cruel, selfish, or cold-hearted. That is a dream that is profoundly worth fighting for, because money itself is not automatically good or evil. Money is simply a magnifier. If you are a cruel person, more money will make you a monster. But if you are a kind, generous, and deeply compassionate person, more money will give you the power to be a literal blessing to everyone around you. The real battle you are fighting right now is not against your bank account. It is not against the current state of the economy, it is not against your critics, and it is not against your current difficult circumstances. The real battle is taking place entirely inside your own mind, between the version of you that wants to stay safe, small, and comfortable, and the version of you that knows you were built for something much bigger. You have to consciously choose to believe that you are fully worthy of a better, grander, and more meaningful life. You have to believe it before you can ever build it, because your reality will never outgrow your self-belief. So go ahead, let your imagination run wild, sketch out the biggest blueprint possible for your life, and then put in the quiet, unstoppable work required to bring that blueprint to life.